back here to Australia. What about Bambi Eyes Brett Sutton, the Chief Health Officer there in Victoria, the one of which all must be obeyed, the bloke who just freewheels, changes his opinion at all times? It was his logic that meant that Victorians were sent into lockdown. It was his logic that, of course, 15 cases or thereabouts was okay, and then 5 cases a day for 14 days is when you'll be actually allowed to go back to work. Well, reality has now hit this idiot.
Been between 10 and 15 cases for more than 3 weeks now. Is there a chance we will never get to 5? We will never get to the targets that we'd set to move to the next step, that we might just have to live between 10 and 15 cases a day?
Who knows? No one's been to this point with a second wave anywhere in the world. We are treading new ground. So I won't say in absolute terms what the possibilities are. We can't discount that it might be extraordinarily difficult to drive down to zero.
He's the expert. Here to talk about this and everything else that happened across the weekend, other than Liz Storer from Advance Australia, from the LNP in Queensland, Senator James McGrath, the common sense man that is Michael Kroger, of course, former president of the Liberal Party in Victoria, Stephen Conroy. I rarely lead with a lefty, but I know your views when it comes to this idiot. You are locked up in your house again, half of October, all of October, and the bloke who apparently was setting the rules now says, well, who knows?
Yeah, look, I mean, I actually think that following that statement, he should have then added, and I now formally tender my resignation. He's designed this strategy. It was unachievable from the beginning. For him to, again, despite public denial, start talking about driving the number to 0. 0 is not what he's claiming suppression. He has sold this pup to the government, and it is a pup that is starting to smell. The people who designed the actual model that he is using, actually after realising what he was doing with it, went public and said, no, look, perhaps he's interpreting it a little tighter than we would have thought. We would have made some different assumptions when using this model. So this bloke has again proved he's a complete clown. He freewheels, he changes, chops and changes, but for him to now say he has no idea if he can achieve the target he has set, he should resign tomorrow morning.
Michael Kroger, I couldn't agree more with every word of it, but I tell you what, the other one who should be getting the pen out is Daniel Andrews, and Peter Credlin's confrontation with him was spectacular to see. But Sutton, again, his rule book, his slide rule, now who knows where we're going. You have been in your house in Victoria since July.
And there's a long way to go. I'm perplexed by him saying there hasn't been a second wave anywhere in the world. Hello? Hasn't he ever heard of France or England or Spain? And look, whilst you're on, I agree with Stephen, this bloke should have resigned months ago. I think he's hopelessly out of his depth. And, what can we say about the Victoria that hasn't been said, except to say this. We're going to talk later on about Kevin Rudd. Usually this should be a Kevin Rudd-free program, but
should be.
He's got this petition against News Limited. Well, can I just put on the record? Thank God for the News Limited journalists: Peter Credlin, Rachel Baxendale from The Australian, Andrea Crothers, Gabriella Power, and then Alex White from the Herald Sun. Those 5 women have asked the toughest and most courageous questions at press conferences.
Yeah.
If we relied on the ABC and Channel 9, the Victorian public would be nowhere. And the only reason those phone records are being produced is because of Credlin and the other News Limited journalists. Thank goodness for News Limited.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why he probably wants that Royal Commission must remove resistance. God forbid anyone has anything to say.